Hello and welcome. In this video I will be discussing the solar setup that I will be making for my own property here at my own little homestead. Hello and welcome everybody to the channel. My name is Brian Keith, and today we will be discussing a video that some people have been awaiting. It is going to be going over a solar setup that I will be building and using in my house. Currently, right now, I don't have it fully set up, so that way you can actually see it currently running. However, I do have all of the stuff I need to set it up when that time comes. Right now, I currently don't have any of it set up because I keep most of it in a Faraday cage that I built just in case of an EMP or even a CME. In fact, here in a few days we have a CME currently hitting our way right now towards Earth. It's supposed to be here on the night of the 31st into the 1st of October. Not sure on how that's going to turn out, but if the case may be, I don't want my electronics fried. Hopefully that doesn't happen, and hopefully not to you guys either. So, this is the stuff I'm using. I have all the diagrams I've created for the wiring that I'm using and the calculations of how it's all going to turn out. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and start. I'll go ahead and show you first the video that I have of the little battery setup area in the back of my house of 4 batteries that I'm using. They're 12-volt batteries. They're all put in what is called parallel to keep them 12 volts. If you put batteries in series, it adds up the voltage. So you can go 12 volts, 12 volts, put them in series, and you create a 24-volt battery. I have 4 batteries, and they're all in parallel. So you add up the amperage instead of the voltage. They all still stay 12 volts, which is 12.6 volts is what I currently have when I put a multimeter on them. And my amp hours are a little over 400 amp hours with all 4 of my batteries. It's 412, and my current watt hours I have total in the batteries at full charge is a little over 5,000 watt hours. So it's actually not too bad for a little setup that I made. Now let's go ahead and check out the video for the batteries. This is the little battery area I have set up in the back of my house. It's not a complete setup, so if you look at it and think, wow, it's kind of a little bit of a mess back there. I got a lot of stuff in my house, so if you don't think I'm a hoarder, I'm a prepper with a lot of crap. I don't keep trash, but I do have a lot of stuff in my house. Those crates that you see there on the side, those are actually jugs and jugs of water. So just in case the water goes out, I at least got enough water back. Probably cover a couple weeks per person. It's just me and the wife in the house, so I got enough water for both of us. So, alright guys, let's go ahead and check out the video.
These are the batteries that I will be using for my solar setup. 12-volt batteries, all in parallel. Each battery is approximately 105 amp hours or more, depending on the type of the battery, because there's 2 different types down there. This battery and that battery is the same. This battery and this battery is just a little bit bigger in their size. These are 27s, 27 DC, and those are 24 DCs, which is their model numbers. However, total in parallel, they are 425, 420 amp hours, I believe, since they're all put in parallel. Now, if they were put in series, the amp hour would stay the same, however, the voltage would go up.
Now, if you can tell by looking at those batteries, the wire size I am currently using to connect them all in parallel is 2-gauge wiring. So, it does matter for those out there that are connecting batteries in parallel, don't use any thin wire in case you're new at doing this, because the wire will burn and get very hot and can catch fire inside your house. And if crap hits the fan, it's kind of hard to call 911 to kind of help save you.
The system I'll be running and charging is a 12-volt system that will be turned back into 110 volt power things. I'm not going to run the entire house off this, so maybe someday, and if I do, I'll have to have a much bigger battery bank than that.
So there you guys go on the batteries. As you can see, they're 4 batteries, all in parallel, 2-gauge wiring. So I got a little over 400 amp hours at 12.6 volts. You take your amp hours, time your voltage, and you can get your watt hours. Now, when you're using your batteries, you can only use about 50%. So you really don't get the full 5,000 watt hours. You're only going to get about 2,600 watt hours. Now you could technically take the batteries down to 40, even 30%, but you don't want to do that too much because you can damage and destroy the batteries. And if you can't go to the store and buy any because of some kind of foreseen event, then you can actually make yourself a lot worse on trying to keep that fridge running when your battery's dead and it's not taking a charge. These are the batteries that I'm currently using and where I got them from. They're obviously EverStart batteries. They come from Walmart. And I know, lead acid, Walmart. But when you're like me and you're kind of limited on money, I can't really afford the lithium high dollar cool batteries that are $1,000 for each battery. I mean, come on. There's no way I can afford that crap. And these batteries will still work just fine. So these batteries were $81.67 plus a $12 core fee when I bought each one. And they charge that core fee so that way you gotta bring back the old battery. So in essence I paid a little over $90. So 4 batteries, about close to $400. But I did it over an increment period of time. About 4 months. It took me about 4 or 5 months because I've had to buy other stuff too. So it was a pretty good little investment. Now that's just the batteries. Now we'll go to the solar panels of what I'm using. I have a few different kinds of solar panels. Now I know some people are gonna say, you know, if you have a few different types of solar panels, you can't mix and match them because it goes on to either the lowest voltage or the lowest amps. And it depends on how you wire them up. And I will explain later on in the video of how I'm wiring these up, so that way I have less loss. The less loss you have, the better on your system. So let's go ahead and check out these panels. These are the solar panels that I have that I will be using. This is one. It is close to 400 watts. Either 390, 380, between 380 and 400 watts. I have 2 of these. There's one. There's a second. And then I have 4 smaller ones. These are 100 watt panels. So I got 4 of these. Now yes, as you guys can see, that room where my panels are at, it's a messy room. Like I said, I have a lot of stuff in there. I got a lot of tools, a lot of prepper things, survival gear. I've got a crap load of stuff. So you always want to have a whole bunch of hand tools and power tools, especially if you need to work on something when crap hits the fan and you either have to fix something in your house or your truck. Like for me, I have a truck. Or even if something small breaks, You're going to want to have all the resources you can in order to keep going.
So all of these are going to be wired together, and I will show you the wiring that I will be doing. Because I know there's going to be people that say, how are you going to do that? Because you're going to have loss. Well, if you wire it the correct way, you're going to have some loss, but you won't have a lot.
Now this is how I have everything that's going to be set up. These are the panels, the very top, 390 watts, excuse me, 370 watts, and then 4 panels that are 100 watts. Now if you look at the drawing carefully, you'll actually see how I have the wires done. That's how it's going to be connected up. Most people, not all, but most people, when they connect their panels up, they're going to connect their panels up in series, so they add up all the voltage. So when you do that, and you have, let's say, all of these panels here, I connect them all up in series. My setup is going to go onto the lowest voltage, so those two 400 watt panels, they're going to act like 100 watt panels because of the lower voltage panels that are also connected in series. That's why there's other people that say you can't do that because it degrades your system. Well, they're correct. However, you can connect it in what's called, if you look at the top of the picture, a series parallel connection. You connect 2 panels that are 100 watts, and you connect those 2 in series, and that adds up the voltage. So you get 18 volts plus 18 volts equals 36 volts. You do the same thing with the other 2 panels that are 100 watts, put those 2 in series, same thing, you get 36 volts. Then you put it all in parallel. Everything has to be in parallel. Now that's where it gets tricky depending on the type of solar charge controller you have. Because some solar charge controllers only have so many amps that you can take it. Now the type of solar charge controller I have is a 60 amp, which is a pretty good size. So here, let me show you guys what it looks like. Let me bring it back to my camera. Ooh, and this thing is not light. It's not hooked up yet, so I'm able to. Hold on a sec. My camera wants to play games with me. That's just great. There we go. This is the type of solar charge controller I have, and since it's mirror imaged, that's just nice. This one's a pretty good size. It's not one of the little dinky ones. Now yes, uh-oh, I'm just dropping crap. I do have one of the smaller ones. These things. These are okay, but you can only run 3, maybe 4 if you're lucky, 100 watt panels. That's it. And then this thing, that's it. I mean, you can do quite a bit with this little thing, but there's no way you can run half a house. You could probably run a quarter, maybe an eighth of a house, depends on how many watts your house uses. Now this thing will take up to 150 volts, I believe. I'd have to look on the box, but it's a 60 amp, so I know this thing's backwards for you guys, so I wish my camera was able to flip everything around and mirror it, so go figure though, right? Maybe I can click on my webcam settings here real quick. Oh, there we go. Now you guys can read it. Oh, maybe. Maybe it'll focus. Maybe not. Nope. Oh well. This is the type of solar charge controller I'm using. That I will be using. It's still brand new. It's never been used. 60 amp is what it says on the side. So all those panels that you see, or that you saw in my drawing, they're all going to be put in that series parallel connection. There you go. Which total will bring it up to... There you go. I've already done a lot of the calculations for you guys in case anybody's trying to figure it out. 30.26 amps. So it's only going to be half of the amps of what I'm allowed to get on this before this thing smokes and overheats. And right there it says TV. If you look on the thing, which is 12 voltage or your lowest voltage, it's going to go off those two 100 watt panels that are in series. That's in the parallel connection, 36 volts. Now the two panels that are the large, huge panels, one is 39.7, the other one's 39.6. So it's still going to go off the lowest voltage, which is true, and it's 36. So I only get a 3 volt drop. That's it, 3 volts. Now, if you add up all the panels without doing the actual Ohm's law calculations and the lowest voltage setting, you'll have 1200 watts. But since you have to create a loss because of the lowest voltage, I'm only going to get 1089.36 watts, which is only about a little over 100 watts, 110 watts of loss. And that's actually not too bad for the way I'm gonna wire it up. Ooh, let me set this down, guys. That's one big heavy MPV controller. I made sure I got a heavy duty one that I was gonna hook up to my house. But here you guys see. For those who didn't know, when I was in college, I did electricity, and my associates in applied science degree. So I've had a lot of this training for wiring for electrical and doing the national electric codes, and I've also done plumbing code. So I'm not a master journeyman or anything like that. So just in case anybody wonders, are you an engineer? No, but I've done college algebra. I've done several different types of classes for calculating, mainly Ohm's law. And for those who don't know, this is Ohm's law right here. This is what you use, getting the wattage, the voltage, and the amperage. And you can also get ohms too, which is your resistance. The more resistance it has, the more it creates a force to stop the current flow. You want less resistance, which is the reason why you want to have larger wire size. So that's why I say it's going to matter on your wires too. I've got down here, these are just some. I've got more wires than this. Let me change my camera. There we go. This is 6 gauge and 8 gauge wiring. These are just a bundle of wires that I got. it's a good amount of wire. I got red and I got black on purpose so I could mark which one's going to be positive, which one's going to be negative. Now I got more wire than that. That's nothing. That's just a third of what I got. So it's a lot of crap to put together your own little solar thing, which is why I understand some people that want to go ahead and buy their own little pre-made solar generator set up like Blue Yeti. And there's some other ones too. And I understand that. However, for someone like me, I'm limited on income, and it really makes it hard for me to save up money in order to build buy a nice system, one that's very expensive. Because I've seen the prices on those things, and those things are not cheap. So it's better for me just to build my own. Now those two big, huge solar panels that I got, I picked those things up scratch and dent from a solar dealer that's about 15 miles away from me, that runs a solar company that installs panels. He sold them to me real cheap. The panels are still great. He even said they're brand new. It's just they got scratches on the side of them, where the aluminum is, not on the panel itself, but on the aluminum. That little high dollar people, ritzy people that buy them, they didn't want them because they're scratched up. I was like, shit, dude, I'll take them. So he sold them to me real cheap for some really big, huge panels. So I got a good deal on those. You just gotta look around, guys. And it's not hard to build a system or a setup. And it does take a little bit of know-how. But once you start studying and figuring out and watching, there's even YouTube videos on how to set it up. So, I mean, you guys can do it. And you can get things a little at a time. Get your panels. Maybe next month or two, get your solar charge controller. Next month or two, you can get this. Now, this is my inverter. This is a 3,000 watt inverter. So, get it. Yeah, it's pretty good size. It's not little. It's definitely a good size inverter. Now this right here, I can wire into a box, like your breaker box. Now this won't be able to run an entire house, but for 3,000 watts, I can run quite a bit. So maybe a third, maybe half of my house. And with 4 batteries, it'll run for quite a while. Now, if you're going to run something like what I've got, high wattage, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 watt system, something nice, you need to have enough batteries because you can drain a single battery down very quickly. And if you don't have the right panels, it's not going to charge the battery in time. So it defeats the purpose. So you want to make sure you got good batteries and enough batteries. You got to make sure that you have enough panels in order to recharge those batteries. And if you have enough panels, you got to make sure that you have a big enough solar charge controller that can handle it. So yeah, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to do, and again, that's why I say I understand why people don't do what I do and not what I'm doing. So I totally get it. I'm not trying to make this video too long for you guys, but I just wanted to show you that this is what I'm doing. So this is just all calculation, my little setup of how I'm gonna have it set up. Solar charge controller, power inverter, all my batteries down there in parallel. Panels will be outside. This is how it's all gonna be wired up. All the red and black wires coloring you see, it's all gonna be 6 gauge and 8 gauge wiring. The wiring on the batteries is already 2 gauge. It's already all set up and ready to go to the inverter. I've been preparing this for quite a while, so. And here's a wire gauge chart. If you guys don't know how to gauge, this tells you the length of your here on the side, a certain amount of feet, 30 feet or 50 feet, and then you over here on the side, if you're like my solar charge controller, it says max 60 amps, so you want to go to max. If I'm going to run at 30 feet, 60 amps, 6 gauge wire. So that's why I'm running 6 gauge, because that's what the chart says to do. Now you can step it up to a 4 gauge just to make it safe, just to give it a little extra size, so that way the amps aren't trying to squeeze through a wire and causing overheat. So it's just a lot of research that people have to do, and you do gotta have a little bit of know-how when doing this, but this isn't rocket science. And like I said, there's many videos out there that can go and help you do this. So I mean, there's really no excuse not to build yourself a nice little setup. Now the inverter I'm using, it's a modified inverter. It's not a pure sine wave, so it's going to run quite a bit. There's certain things that it may not run because it's modified. It was a little over a couple $100 on Amazon. That's where I got it from. So it was a decent little inverter. Well, not little, but it's a decent inverter. And they've got other ones on here too. If you guys go on here and look, they got pure sine waves ones, but the ones that are pure sine wave, if you look at the price, I mean, here's one, 3,000 watts, same wattage, but this one's pure sine wave. the price is almost doubled. So you're paying a little bit more money for pure. But it depends on what you're running, plugging into it. Like, say, a computer. You want to be careful running it because computers are sensitive equipment. And sometimes modified sine waves and computers don't go together. So you have to be careful on what you plan on running. Now, if in a crap hits the fan situation, I'm not really going to be worried about trying to get on my computer, you know, because there probably won't be any internet. I mean, so why would you want to be on a computer? You're going to be trying to survive looking out your window with your freaking 12-gauge boomstick in your hand, hoping nobody tries to come and steal your food or break in your house and rape your wife, right? So you ain't going to have time to play on a computer. But with the type of inverter that I have, I should be able to run a simple coffee pot, lights, LED lights, maybe some grow lights. I'll be able to charge things I need for like flashlights, stuff like that. I'll have power, you know, when most people don't have power. But during the nighttime, like right now, it's about 4 o'clock in the morning. And yes, I'm a late night person, so when I upload this video, it's going to be in the afternoon. So, but that's why you see me, guys, right now. I'm not wearing a shirt, so don't worry, you won't have to worry about seeing my man boobies. So but here you guys go. And this is the solar charge controller that I picked up. I picked this up on Amazon. They have multiple different ones. This is the $188 version one. Now I forgot how much I paid when I bought this. I bought this earlier this year, so I've had this for a while and I just haven't hooked it up yet. They got several different ones. This is the one I got. Now the one I got is the same thing like these others. It can handle 12-volt battery, 24 battery volt setup, 36 and 48 volt battery setup. So if you look for, it says fit for solar panel, 12 volt, 900 watts, 24 volt, 1700 watts, 2700 watts for 36 volt, and the higher the voltage, the more you can put on there for panels. So let's see which one. Yep, there's the one I got. Oh wow, so the one I have. Wait, no. Yeah, 60 amp. What'd they do? Change it on me? 900 watts. Ah. So see, I'm gonna have to re-look into what I'm doing, because now it says 900 watts for 12 volt, and I'm running a 12 volt system, and you guys saw the calculations on all my panels. I've got a little over 1,000, so I gotta rethink that. I may have to take a panel off or two of the 100 watt ones and get it underneath 900. Well, that sucks. It's a good thing I looked and didn't wire it up. Next thing you know, I'd be making another video how I screwed up my shit. So yeah, that's great. Well, good thing I looked with you guys, if you guys are still watching the video. So, and if you are, I appreciate it. I hope you guys like, comment, and even share it if you'd like. That'd be great. So there we go, guys. I hope my video was a little informative for you guys. So I know I told a lot of people that I was going to show what I'm using, how I set it up, or how I'm going to set it up. The stuff I'm using, the wires, the solar charge controller, the inverter, the panels. So this might be a little bit of a lengthy video. I'm going to try not to make it too terribly long, but it might be. So, but if you guys are still watching, I totally appreciate it. And I thank you all that are currently on this channel watching, and hopefully for any newbies out there that plan on coming and joining the channel anytime soon. Eventually, when I get up to a certain amount of people, I wouldn't mind doing like a giveaway. I was thinking about, I got some silver pieces put away. Might give out a piece of silver. So the more people I can get to the channel, the better. I think I'm gonna do a little bit of a little silver coin. I've got a little, I think it's a 1/10 silver piece. So we might do a giveaway when I hit, let's say, 500 subscribers, and then do another one when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So It's taken me quite a while already right now to hit 200, so it may be a ways before I hit 500, unless all of a sudden, miraculously, I get more people in like a few nights, and then we'll do a giveaway. So we'll do a video and have everybody comment on it, and then we'll just do a random drawing on someone's name. So we'll have to see how that works out. But if you guys see, I also have a PayPal and also Cash App. If anybody out there would like to do a donation, I'd greatly appreciate it to the channel. Anything that helps. If not, it still doesn't matter. I'm still going to make videos, and I appreciate you guys watching. The biggest thing that could help me do would be sharing out my video and commenting on it and liking it. Now, if you don't like it, just give me a thumbs down if that really makes you excited inside. So, hey, either way, whether you like it or dislike it, just so you know, it still puts me in the algorithm. In case you guys didn't know that, even if anybody out there is trolling on other videos, when you click dislike on someone's video, you're still actually giving them likes in a way to the systems that run the servers at YouTube. Just in case you guys didn't know that. In case you guys thought, hey, I'm gonna click dislike on this, and yeah, you're still helping the person. You just don't know it. But yeah, anyways, thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you guys learned something. So, in fact, I learned something too, and it's a good thing that I saw that I can only have 900 watts instead of 1200 watts on my solar charge controller. I'm gonna have to go reread all that and what I was seeing in the instructions. Apparently either I forgot or I became retarded, so I'll have to go check that out. See, we all learned something, even me. Alright guys, have a great night, and thank you for watching.